Hey everyone, Reflected here, and today I have an important announcement to make. I'm working on a new historical P-51 Mustang campaign for DCS World called Debden Eagles. The first campaign I ever released was Blue-Nosed Bastards of Botany, focusing on one of my favorite units of the USAAF, the 352nd Fighter Group. It's a semi-historical campaign. What does that mean? It means that it's all based on thorough research, making sure that the missions and procedures are as realistic as possible so they could have happened in real life, but they didn't actually happen. I made them up to my best knowledge. This way, I could ensure a nice variety of missions, air to ground, air to air, always some interesting targets, unexpected events, challenging but balanced difficulty. So basically a fun experience. Since then, I've built some other World War II campaigns that take an entirely different approach. Wolfpack for the P-47 and Beware Beware for the Spitfire. I managed to get my hands on several books, original combat reports and squadron records that describe precisely what happened on a given mission down to the smallest details. My job was not to create a fun experience anymore, but to gather as much info as I can and put it all into the DCS mission editor. The outcome and result may not be as quote-unquote fun as a semi-historical campaign from a gaming point of view, but in my opinion they turned out to be much more. The most interactive and realistic history lessons that I've ever experienced. Such missions and campaigns helped me understand what exactly these young men went through, what challenges they were facing, and made me appreciate their sacrifice even more. So if Blue-Nosed Bastards is a Hollywood movie, I don't mean like Red Tails or Pearl Harbor, but say one directed by Steven Spielberg or Tom Hanks, then Debden Eagles will be a documentary. Now, there's another unit that has always had a special place in my heart, the 4th Fighter Group based at Debden, England. I still remember clearly the day I bought the book Tumult in the Clouds by James Goodson at Duxford Flying Legends and then read it several times in the following weeks. Written by an original pilot of the 4th, it was a captivating book, especially after visiting the actual places in England and seeing and hearing those roaring, screaming P-51s at the air show. Ever since then, I've been fascinated by the pilots and history of the 4th. They started out as the Eagle squadrons of the RAF in 1940, made up of American volunteers. Then they were integrated into the USAAF, becoming the 4th Fighter Group. Eventually, they changed from Spitfires and Hurricanes to P-47 Thunderbolts, then to P-51 Mustangs in early 1944, but they always stayed true to their RAF roots. Original Eagle Squadron pilots kept wearing RAF wings on the right chest of their uniform, they kept using RAF lingo, and even RAF flying gear. This group had some amazing personalities and great pilots such as Don Blakesley, Jim Goodson, Vic Franz, Mike Sabansky, Don Gentili, John Godfrey, or Kid Hoffer, just to name a few. If you've read Tumult in the Clouds, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, do it. So now that we have an updated and larger Normandy 2 map, I thought I'd put the pieces together. I found some original accounts and books with detailed descriptions allowing me to recreate every mission flown by the 4th in the week after D-Day. You'll join 334 Squadron, that's right, not the 334th Fighter Squadron, the way any other USAAF squadron would be pronounced, but 334, keeping to the way the RAF designated their units. So you'll join 334 in the early morning hours of June 6th, 1944, and take part in the Mighty Endeavor, one of the greatest military operations in history. As I'm putting the missions together and flying them, it's the same eye-opening experience as with my previous similar campaigns, and the feeling of being part of the USAAF fighter group is certainly there. I even got into a bit of a dilemma. See, some of the missions are relatively uneventful from a gaming perspective. Some others are an absolute slaughterhouse, and you'll be on the receiving end. For a while, I considered bending history a little to make the campaign more user-friendly, but then I decided against it. Staying true to real-life events is the core of the campaign and its true value, so I'm gonna stick to it no matter what and see what comes out. The only compromise I had to make so far is using Kenley as Debden, because the original base is 50 miles further up north, and it's not on the map. This will only result in shorter missions. Otherwise, if there's something you don't like, you can grab a time machine and complain to 8th Air Force Command or the Luftwaffe. The campaign will be, let's say, 85 to 90% air-to-ground focused. But again, not gonna change history just because some would prefer it that way. In the first week after the invasion, the main task of the 4th, among other fighter groups, was to keep German reinforcements from reaching the beaches, cut off supplies, and also to keep the Luftwaffe away. So you'll be flying deep and low behind the lines, beating up trains, convoys, bombing bridges and marshalling yards, screaming above those hedgerows looking for targets of opportunity, or escort bombers doing the same. I've learned a lot of tricks in the mission editor since my first campaigns, and most of the research I've done previously applies here too, so it should be a relatively easy one to complete. At least I hope so. No promises, but I'm planning to finish it this year. I've already set up a few of the missions, and I'm beyond excited to see history unfold in the virtual reality of DCS. I hope you're as excited as I am about this campaign, so please subscribe and ring the bell for more updates. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. See ya!